Hi and thanks for joining me this week. My name's Lucy from A Good Chat Video, and this week's video is on oxytocin. This is part 4 in our series of the feel-good drugs of the brain, and the other videos will be linked up above so that you can go and watch those if you so choose. Oxytocin is a hormone that acts on the organs in the body, including the breast and uterus, and is a chemical messenger in the brain. It controls key aspects of the reproductive system, including the uterus and the breasts, including lactation. It's often referred to as the motherhood hormone and as the love hormone, as it plays a huge role in feelings of attraction, motherhood, and bonding. Oxytocin is produced in the hypothalamus. Oxytocin is produced by the hypothalamus and secreted into the bloodstream by the posterior pituitary gland. Secretion depends on the electrical activity of the neurons found in the hypothalamus, and it is released into the blood when the cells are excited. In the brain, oxytocin acts as a chemical messenger. It has a vital role in many human behaviours, including that for attraction, and it plays a vital role in fertility, bonding, motherhood, and love. Researchers in one 2012 study found that couples in the first stages of romantic attraction had higher levels of oxytocin than their unattached counterparts. But oxytocin is tied to more than just new love. It's also linked to the intensity and length of orgasms. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins are often referred to as the feel-good drugs of the brain. When we fall in love, oxytocin is released. When you're attracted to another person, oxytocin tends to be released, along with serotonin, endorphins, and dopamine. This causes you to feel a surge of attraction, lust, and general feelings of well-being. In other words, it's that good old love and feeling. Oxytocin is the primary reason why you love your mum, you feel attracted to your partner, or that you find strangers on the street attractive. The role in childbirth cannot be understated. Oxytocin is a vitally important part of the process. It enables women to lactate, as well as in the contraction of the womb during childbirth. The hormone triggers labour and releases breast milk. Oxytocin stimulates the uterine muscle to contract and also to further production in the prostaglandin, which increases the contractions further. In addition, manufactured oxytocin is often administered to release the placenta faster or to induce labour when the natural levels haven't done so. It also reduces the risk of heavy bleeding afterwards. During breastfeeding, oxytocin also encourages the flow of breast milk through the glands and excreted through the nipple, making it accessible to the baby. The production of oxytocin in childbirth is self-limiting. It's a closed loop that stops once the child has been delivered and labour ends. Post-birth, oxytocin plays a huge role in the motherhood and in the bonding mother-baby role. The effects of oxytocin on the mother have shown behaviours such as frequently checking on the baby, affectionate touch, singing or speaking to the baby in a certain way, so baby talk, grooming and bathing behaviours. Some research suggests that babies who receive this type of parenting experience a boost in oxytocin that makes them seek more contact with their mother and thus enforcing the bonding process. These effects aren't limited to biological mothers. A study in 2014 found that oxytocin has a similar effect on foster mothers as well. Oxytocin is also present in men, playing a role in sperm transport and the production of testosterone in the testes. Oxytocin helps move the sperm. There's evidence that parenthood stimulates the release of oxytocin in men too. One 2010 study found that specific types of interaction between father and baby led to higher oxytocin levels. This includes pointing out objects to the child and encouraging activity tracking. This means that fathers, through the use of oxytocin, encourage babies to explore their environment and surroundings. Oxytocin production and secretion is controlled by a positive feedback system, where the release of the hormone causes an action that stimulates more of its own release. One review of research suggested that oxytocin has a positive impact on social behaviours related to relaxation, trust, and overall psychological stability. The hormone has been shown to decrease stress and anxiety levels when released into certain parts of the brain. Oxytocin may help you adapt to a number of different emotional and social situations. Intranasal oxytocin, or absorption through the nose, has directly linked to enhanced communication between couples, particularly post-fight or argument. Research from 2010 also shows that intranasal oxytocin can help people with autism better understand and respond to social cues. We aren't exactly sure what the link between autism and oxytocin is, but there does seem to be some direct cue in that. The link between oxytocin and fidelity may also begin with the hormone's ability to make people view their partners as more attractive than unfamiliar ones, particularly in males. Research in 2012 suggests that the hormone may influence males to seek closer bonding with a known female partner as opposed to seeking out new unfamiliar partners. This may be a part of oxytocin's effect on the reward system of the brain, reinforcing interactions with their partner as opposed to seeking out sexual gratification with strangers. This can create a feedback loop where the more that they interact with their partner, the more of a reward that they get for that, encouraging a stronger bond between the couple and less behaviours such as seeking strangers and for sexual gratification. One 2014 animal study found that treatment with oxytocin reduced behaviours associated with infidelity, particularly in females who preferred to interact socially with their male partner instead of strangers of the opposite sex. It's thought that oxytocin decreased the novelty of interacting with a stranger. Further study of this is definitely required before it can be taken particularly seriously, or if it's a standard at all for attraction behaviour, because the real world application and the experience of people in the real world does not correlate with these studies in the slightest. So it definitely may be that it's more to do with culture, with the environment and the upbringing, and they may play a much greater role in the feedback cycle than indicated by the study. And not all animal trial data transfers to complex human behaviours. So yeah, we do know that oxytocin affects males and females differently, particularly in social contexts. This may be because the hormone acts differently in the male and female amygdala. This is the portion of the brain responsible for emotion, motivation, and reward. For example, oxytocin may factor into how females identify who to befriend and how to tend to those relationships. The hormone may play a role in the way males identify competitive relationships and navigate the fight or flight response. Although oxytocin can enhance bonding, it may also encourage favoritism and prejudice. This can lead to the formation of in-groups and out-groups and plays a large role in what we think of as social bonding experience groups. Just think high school with like the cliquey groups and the out-groups. This is largely because of how the role of oxytocin is in the brain and on the effects particularly of teenagers and younger adolescents. The hormone has also been linked to feelings of envy and dishonesty. More research is needed to fully understand the implications though. It isn't clear why its effects vary in nature or who may be more likely to experience negative effects. This may depend on other factors such as underlying psychiatric disorders or genetic disposition. Similarly, it's not fully understood at present if there's any implications to having too little oxytocin in the body. A lack of oxytocin in a nursing mother can prevent the milk ejaculation reflex and prevent breastfeeding. Low oxytocin levels have been linked to autism and to autistic spectrum disorders such as Asperger's syndrome, and a key element of these disorders being poor social functioning. Some scientists believe that oxytocin could be used to prevent these disorders. In addition, low oxytocin could be used to treat these disorders. In addition, low oxytocin has been linked to depressive states and symptoms, and it has been proposed that we can use oxytocin to treat these. However, there's not enough evidence at the moment to support these views or for any other treatment of conditions. Normally, here's where there would be a list of how to naturally raise your oxytocin, but in this case, red wine, dark chocolate and sex might help, but probably not for 9 months. So this is Lucy from A Good Chat. I hope this was a good chat and I will see you next week. Cheers, bye.